Well, if you kind of think about it a little bit, this text that we have here for this morning seems a little bit on the strange side, because if you think about it, when we have communion here as a church, when we, like we will here in a little bit, when we have communion, we believe that what we receive in the wine is the blood of Christ, and what we receive in the bread is the body of Christ. That He is actually truly present in body and blood in the meal that we are eating. And the reason that we believe that is because if you look at the reading, that's exactly what Jesus says, and not just in this reading, but in all the other versions of this reading as well. Jesus actually says this is, and so that's what we believe it is. But also, we believe that because on the cross, Jesus' body was actually broken, and Jesus' blood was actually poured out. On the cross, Jesus' body was broken in that it could not work anymore. He could not live anymore. And then on the cross, Jesus' blood was actually poured from His body. And so when we celebrate communion together, we believe Jesus' body and blood are here present because on the cross He gave those things. These things are products of the cross. And so at communion, we receive the forgiveness given on the cross. Everybody cool with that? Everybody kind of understand how the logic works with that? And so what's the deal with this reading? Because, here's Jesus on the night before He goes to the cross. And He gives His disciples the bread, and He says it's His body. And He gives His disciples the wine, and He says it's His blood. But the reality is that, how can we have those things when He hasn't gone to the cross yet? And it doesn't seem to make logical sense. These things, His body and His blood, are products of Him going to the cross. And so how is it possible that Jesus here gives it to them? His body still seems to be functioning. His blood still seems to be in His veins. And so how can it be that Jesus is giving them His body and His blood here this night? How is this possible? You see, there's a truth that you and I are supposed to be picking up on here. A truth that Jesus was attempting to teach to His disciples on this night, and it's a truth that you and I need to come to the realization about as well, that what is going on in this text is victory. Okay? Like the victory is already won. This is the truth that you and I need to realize, that Jesus has already won the victory, even before He goes into the cross itself. Like the things that are about to go down in the text in just like the next couple of chapters have no bearing on whether or not Jesus will win. Jesus has already won the victory. And He's actually trying to give His disciples that kind of confidence as well. He's trying to teach them that no matter what goes down, Jesus wins. That no matter what happens around the bend, that He has already won the victory. And so here on this night, He celebrates His victory meal with them. Here on this night, He gives them the wine, it says it's His blood. He gives them the bread, it says it's His body, because these things are certain. Their forgiveness is absolute. And He can say this because the victory has already been done. And he was even trying to teach them that earlier in the passage when He was sending them into Jerusalem to find a place for Him to prepare to have the Passover. Did you notice that it was already figured out? Like the disciples might have thought it was weird. They said, Lord, where do you want us to prepare for you to have the Passover? Jesus goes, it's all set. And go into town, find this guy with the water jar, follow him to his place and say, hey, where's the room? You will go and you will find this room all prepared, ready to go. It's done. Victory is complete. I've already got all this worked out. He was even teaching them, the crowds, this exact same thing when He came strolling into Jerusalem on this little tiny donkey. Didn't you think that was just like a little bit weird? Because usually when a king rolls in to conquer a place, he'll be on a big horse and maybe wear some armor and just maybe have an army with him as well. But instead, Jesus, He comes in alone with no armor on a donkey. And no army behind Him. Why does He do that? Because the reality is, brothers and sisters in Christ, this is not battle formations. This is a victory parade. That's exactly what this is. Jesus has already won before He even goes to the battlefront. Jesus has already declared victory. He's trying to give his disciples that kind of confidence that he has already won. All of it. I'm kind of driving this point home because I think it's important for you and I to have that kind of confidence as well. And so many of us, we approach life like we're just terrified of losing all the time. Like we're so afraid of something that's going to happen that's beyond our control, and we're afraid of losing control, and we react in fear to everything. Can you believe that there are people out there who are so afraid that their person, their guy, their girl isn't going to make it into the White House, that they're willing to throw punches because of it? Because they're afraid of losing. Do you realize how sad that is? Or do you realize that there are people out there who will go into debt to buy cars and motorcycles and houses and whatever else? They'll go into debt to buy these things because they're in some kind of imaginary contest with the guy down the street, and they don't want to lose. They gotta somehow have more toys than the other guy down the street because of the imaginary contest. Or can you believe that there are actually girls, here probably some of them in this room, girls in high school and middle school, who are in some kind of pretty contest with the other girls at school. And they're constantly comparing themselves to all these other girls, and they think, man, I've got to be the prettiest, and so they'll gobble up diet pills. They'll even ask for surgeries and stuff because they got to find some way of winning the pretty contest and comparing themselves with others. They got to find some way to win. We're all terrified of the fact that somebody else might be better, somebody else might be smarter, that somebody else might have more than us, and life is a game, and I've got to win at all costs. You know, brothers and sisters, you've got to understand that we've already won, that we really can't lose. And we gotta quit approaching life like we're a bunch of Vikings fans who are afraid of losing over again. Okay, I've gotten used to it. And it's true though. And we look back at our history, we're like, man, the Vikings, man, we're going to draft the number 1 running back, and that's going to get us a Super Bowl. That didn't work. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get a better quarterback. That's going to get, no, that didn't work either. And we're going to get a better coach. That's going to, no, that didn't do it. So now we're going to build a new stadium. That's finally going to win us a Super Bowl. Wait, no, it's not. It probably isn't. Brothers and sisters in Christ, we need to understand and start living like the victory has already been won, because in Jesus Christ it actually has, and that kind of lifts a burden from you and I when we realize that the victory is already ours. I still remember when I was a senior in college, and when you're a senior in college, you get this thing called senioritis. You ever heard of this before? Yeah, all right, if you were a senior in high school, you understand as well. You go through the stage where you don't want to do anything. But at the same time, the pressure is on because you've got to complete all this stuff. I still remember when I was a senior in college, I had my senioritis, but I got through it, right? And even though my last semester was really difficult because I ended up behind on credits, I got done and I finished my last assignment. And it was like this weight just came off of my shoulder. Like there was nothing else for me to do. I mean, there were no more tests. There was no more pressure. The only other thing that there was for me to do was like pick up my cap and my gown and walk out and get my diploma. And that was in like 2 weeks. So I had 2 solid weeks where I was just chill, I was just like walking slow, enjoying the scenery, And I mean, we were just celebrating the fact that no matter what, the diploma was already ours. Actually, me and my friend, we decided to take our celebration to the next level one day and climb up to the roof of the chapel on campus. Now this, really you weren't supposed to do this. They didn't want students on the roof of the chapel. And because they didn't want students on the roof of the chapel, there were only 2 keys in existence. And your pastor had somehow gotten a hold of one. And so really there wasn't any rule in the handbook about climbing on the roof of the chapel, and so we decided to do it, and we may have brought water balloons with us as well. So we're up there chucking water balloons at unsuspecting freshmen. And as we're doing it, this campus security guard comes out and says, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" Now, you remember, I'm done, right? And this is, the only thing left for me is to go and pick up my diploma. Campus security has little or no power over me at this point. And you also know that your pastor can be just a little bit sarcastic sometimes. And so when this campus security guy yelled at me, "Hey, what are you doing?" I just yelled back, "Graduating," and shut the water balloon out. Because I was done. Right? I mean, there was no fear in me anymore. And kids, this isn't a good idea. Don't do this kind of stuff. And now there is a rule in the handbook about climbing on the roof of the chapel because this happens, you know. But the reality is, I mean, there's no more pressure. There are no more tests. There is nothing for you to prove. There is nothing for you to accomplish. Nothing left for you to do but receive the victory that Christ has already won. Live like that. Because there is nothing that could ever possibly take away your victory. Not life, not death, not anything in all of creation. And I think it's time for us to approach life like we've already won. How weird would that be? I mean, how weird would it be for us to be like, have this kind of cocky swagger about us, like everything we approach is already a victorious thing. Like, what if you were one of those people that like gave to church, and when you did, you had this smirk on your face, and then your friends saw you, and they were like, "Man, first of all, why would you give to church? And second of all, why would you do it with a smile on your face?" And you just look back at them and say, "Hey, man, I have more treasure than you could possibly imagine. I'm not worried about it. Victory's already won." What if we were like that? And approach life like the victory was already won. Or what if like this election cycle completes and the person, the guy or girl that you voted for didn't win, and then that one crazy political friend of yours comes over, and they always vote differently than you, right? And they come over to rub it in your face that you lost, right? And what if that happens and you just look at them like, "Man, I ain't even mad, bro. My king is on the way. He needs a president. We got to." It's a different attitude, isn't it? An attitude of victory, an air of the inability to be defeated. That is what dwells within you, brothers and sisters. Victory is already won. You cannot possibly lose when it comes to this life because of what Jesus Christ has done for you. That's a cool attitude to have, isn't it? To approach life in that way. How freeing is it to know that you have already won? How incredible is it to know that Jesus' victory then gives you victory now? You know, I'd love to tell you that this sermon was all my idea, but actually most of what I've been talking to you today came from a conversation that I had with this sweet lady named Barb Cantala a few weeks before she died. I was there talking with Barb. You all in here have been probably praying for Barb the better part of 10 years, right? This woman who was struggling with cancer. And I was there talking with her the one day. She had high hopes for this surgery that she was going to be going into. And I had high hopes as well. And I said, "You know what, Barb? I think you beat this." And she looks at me and she goes, "Pastor, I already have." How cool is that? And your pastor got schooled in the Bible that day. And it's like, I forgot. Yeah, she already had. And yeah, you know, the reality is that she may be dead and buried, but she didn't lose. No, she's already got the victory in Jesus Christ. The day is going to come that he comes back and he calls her forth because she has already won. The same truth is there for you and I as well, brothers and sisters. She already won, and so have you. We've all won in Jesus Christ. The victory.